this is why we're here doing this vlog, because things are going to get better. It's going to be ups and downs and twists and turns, and it's going to be a journey, but it's going to be an adventure as well, and I want to share that with you guys. Okay, so I know I look like a mess right now, but I'm going to be doing my makeup while chatting a little bit. It's now at 10 to 1, and my gran is waiting on me, so she says a simple makeup, so that's what we're going to try and do in the shortest amount of time possible. So this is going to be kind of the start of week 1 of vlogging, and I'll post probably the video at the end of the week, and try and video how this week goes, because at the end of this week, interestingly enough, my gran, who you'll probably hear me refer to as Nuna, she goes on holiday, and the next day my auntie comes back from Florida, and we thought it was a good idea that when she leaves that Friday night is to leave me to look after the dog, and until my auntie gets back, since I would have to spend the night and the following day looking after the dog, looking after myself on my own, which has proven difficult in the past, hence why I'm now with my gran in my auntie's house while they're on holiday. She's trying to help me get better at living and looking after myself, which has actually been very helpful. So what else should we say? Yeah, so the reason I'm filming doing my makeup is a huge thing for me. It has helped me deal with a lot. Because you can see me right now, I feel disgusting. Disgusting! Like this. It is like when I've not worn makeup out in the past, people have told me that I look sick, that I look ill, and that is because of, when you get tired, you get bags under your eyes, and you get and when you're inside all the time, your skin gets really pale. And so then the circles under your eyes become darker and you look more sick. And when you're tired, the last thing that you really want to hear, even though you know you look awful, is that you do look awful. So, but what my nana has been trying to kind of teach me is to do minimal makeup. I personally am a full coverage queen. I really like to just completely make a mask and just hide underneath it. But as kind of demonstrated today, since the time is nearly 1 o'clock, we don't have time for a full face of makeup. So yeah. So this is challenge number 1, because it's not technically challenge number 1 because we failed the first few challenges, aka getting up. Well, no, we don't failed all challenges today, which is a really, 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 I would say big achievement, but it is an achievement in its way, because I don't like showering in the morning. I think it takes too much energy, and so that ultimately means more sleepiness. Narcolepsy is like on a spectrum. You can have people who have it like really severe. They're falling asleep all the time. They're having cataplexy all the time. And you can have people who just have like the odd sleep attack and no other symptoms that you can see. And that also makes narcolepsy really difficult to diagnose, and to then almost have, like, it's a weird way to describe it, but to like have confidence in the condition. Like, people with narcolepsy sometimes don't want, I've met people who like don't want to even disclose that they have it because it's so misunderstood. It's so like, if you've ever seen it in movies or in TV shows, they portray it as like somebody like collapsing and falling asleep.
Hi, honey. Hey, Dad. Hi there, Dad. Oh, hello, Carl. Oh! It's all right, boys. It's all right. Honey, I'm up.
I mean, it could be part of it, but like the whole like collapsing and oh my god, suddenly she's asleep. It's not true. It's not true at all. But you know, I'll explain like different sleep attacks, autopilot, behavior, the nightmares, sleep paralysis. All are symptoms of narcolepsy, but we'll go into that in a different video. And like, you guys could let me know what you actually want me to talk about, because it's like I'm trying to help myself, I'm trying to help you guys, and I think that talking about it is very, very, very therapeutic. It almost helps you, what's the word? Come to terms with it, and come to understand your own body, your own condition a bit more. So yeah, I mean, just let me know what you want to know about me, about my narcolepsy. It don't even need to be about narcolepsy. It could just be about anything. Anything you want to know about me. I'm mostly an open book, try to be. Yeah. Just trying to decide what to film. Because, you know, since I was little, I was brought up, you know, my mum would always say, you know, shower every day, make sure like your hair and makeup's done before you go out, make sure you look presentable, all of that. So then when narcolepsy came along, I was 11 minutes started. Yeah, so I would have been 11 when the symptoms started to kick in, and that was just at the end of primary 7. Big transitions in life coming up, like going into high school and whatnot. So when I started falling asleep in class, I didn't really want to make a big deal out of it, so I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of said to the person next to me, whoever I was sitting next to, just be like, just give me a nudge to wake up. And I really basically just hid it. When I told her, she was skeptical. I basically came up to her and I was like, Mum, I'm falling asleep in every class. Like, I can't like get to sleep at night time. When I do, I'm having horrendous nightmares. I feel like I can't keep my eyes open like for any length of time. And by this point, she had noticed weird things. She had noticed that like I was like basically collapsing every time that I laughed. She said to me that she thought like it was like this like mad like teenage phase, and would tell me to kind of cut it out. So then we decided we needed to take it a bit more seriously, and we went to the doctor, our local GP. I was diagnosed with an iron deficiency, and iron deficiencies can make you tired. Was put iron tablets. Things didn't really improve from there, apart from my iron levels went up, but my sleepiness continued to get worse. When things didn't get better, he referred us to the hospital, our local hospital, and he basically came back to us and said, she's obviously just being a teenager, she's obviously on her phone at night, basically improve your sleep hygiene, make sure she's not on her phone, and just get to bed earlier. That's basically what he said. So by this point we were pretty stuck. Didn't know really where to go, who to turn to, and it was just purely by chance that my now uncle-in-law, he was at the hospital, and went to a talk by one of the pediatric respiratory doctors, and he was doing a talk on narcolepsy and how he had an interest in narcolepsy. He explained what the condition was, and that they wanted to open up kind of a narcolepsy clinic at that children's hospital. So I'll just say my uncle, it's technically what he is. He went up to him and he was like, "You really need to see." So my uncle then approached this doctor and said, "You really need to see Chloe. She's my niece. She's been falling asleep basically like for the past 2-3 years, and they're really struggling. No one's going to help. No one's helping them." So we did in the October. It was actually like basically the weekend of my birthday. We had my first appointment with this doctor, and not even on my first appointment, like my parents, they were making me laugh. I was falling asleep in the waiting room, and he saw all of this, and he said to us at the appointment, he was like, "I am like 99% sure that she has narcolepsy. Like just by looking at her, just by looking at the symptoms that she's displaying, like I'm pretty certain. But obviously we need to run tests anyway." So that was a time basically within the period between that appointment, where he then took blood samples, between that time in October and like the first few weeks in December, that like he not rushed through my diagnosis, but like he pushed for like all these tests to be done so we could get a diagnosis, which included having a spinal tap done. Thankfully I was put under for the actual procedure, but I mean I was sick like for like the week after. Wasn't fun. Now that you go into the hospital to have a spinal tap and you're like, oh yes, it's going to be a great time. So you'll find that I make myself laugh a lot, and then that doesn't really end up well, because sometimes then I end up like on the floor. So yeah, so then that happened. I ended up in the hospital for a week. After that happened, I went through my MSLT, which is a multiple sleep latency test. Basically, you go in overnight, they hook you up, they hook you up to an EEG machine which monitors your brain activity in your sleep. So you sleep overnight in the hospital, and they also record you on a camera, so they can see like your nighttime like kind of activity, if you like. And so you do that, and then the next day, you go for 3 different naps, and you get hooked up to the EEG machine again. But between the naps, you're not like allowed to say, right, I'm lying down for a sleep. Obviously they can't prevent like if you're gonna have like a sleep attack or anything, but you're not allowed to like physically go for like a scheduled sleep, as we would call them. But then like my mom and dad were there, and they kept making me laugh, and they caught all of that on video, and the video doesn't have any sound to it, so I can't even imagine what I can't even imagine what the people who were reviewing that video were even thinking we were laughing about, because honestly I was like sprawled out on the bed, like unable to breathe, laughing. Like that's what cataplexy does. Like, so your muscles lose muscle tone. You lose muscle tone with high emotion. So these people, the doctors that were probably looking on this tape, like, what are they saying to her? Because like she's like dead. Oh no. I should really be more careful with my makeup. So yeah, so back to the multiple sleep latency tests. So then they went for the 3 different naps, where they monitor how fast you go into REM sleep, which is your dream sleep, and REM stands for rapid eye movement. And on my first nap, I got 4 seconds. My second nap, I got 8 seconds. And my third nap, I got 10. And 10 is like my average, if you like. Now to put that into context, a normal person with a normal sleep pattern, aka like without narcolepsy, should go into REM sleep within 90 minutes of falling asleep. So to go into REM sleep after 10 seconds is a bit extreme. It's just a little on the extreme side. So the doctors were basically able to come directly back to us like that night and say, we only have really the results from the bloods and the multiple sleep latency tests, but we can basically categorically say she has narcolepsy. That was an emotional time for my parents. When I then woke up, that was then an emotional time for me. Emotional time for everybody. So that's the story of my diagnosis while getting ready with me. Always fun. But I mean, at least that's covering kind of my story, my where I've kind of come from, if you like. So to summarize, it took a very long time None of us knew what was going on. I thought that there was a possibility that my brain was like frizzling away, and that's why I was like passing out all the time, and that like I was like eventually gonna die because of this. Like I was so scared. But then also when the diagnosis came along, because narcolepsy can't be cured, there's treatments for it, but you know they're not always guaranteed to work. And there's not really actually that much information on it. So when I got my diagnosis, that was pretty hard, because I'd been perfectly healthy all my life, and then suddenly they turned around and told me that I had this lifelong incurable condition. And I know people will say, you know, at least you're not going to die because of it. At least you're not like. At least like you don't. It's not like degenerative. Like at least like you still look and talk like a perfectly normal, healthy person, which is to me one of like the biggest insults that you can say to someone who has like a chronic or invisible disease / illness. Like I hate that. But yeah, so that was hard, but things are getting better now. I see things are getting better. I'm still sleeping all the time. I'm still falling asleep during the day. I'm still in very, even though I'll talk about it, and it comes to like taking medication and stuff like that, I'm still very in denial about it all. I don't want to be taking pills. I don't want to be going to doctor's appointments. I want to be able to do things that normal people can do. And that's proved difficult through school. Didn't do school very well. It proved difficult in college. Failed my first year of college, resat it, failed again. So now we're here. And this is why we're here, doing this vlog. Because things are going to get better. It's going to be ups and downs and twists and turns, and it's going to be a journey, but it's going to be an adventure as well. And I want to share that with you guys. I want to share it because I think people with narcolepsy really need it. Yeah, so let's do this, guys. Like, woo! Right, signing off for now, because Nuna's going to get angry if I'm not already soon. So, bye!